Hello and welcome to thesporthype.net. My name is Alex Andrews, corresponding for you here today. I'm just going to be talking about a few different things that have happened in the world of football recently. So the title of the video is football losing its predictability? Now the reason I asked that question is because in recent weeks, and this season generally, there have been a couple of things that have really kind of kicked off in the football world that kind of nobody would have ever even thought about predicting at the start of the season. Of course, you've got the obvious one, which is Leicester City sitting at the top of the Barclays Premier League, which is the complete opposite to where they were in February-March time last year. Over the summer, change happened at Leicester. Nigel Pearson fell out with the owner of Leicester City, which then led to Claudio Ranieri coming in. And Claudio Ranieri, known as the Tinkerman, has tinkered with that team to perfection. He's kept the motivation and the hunger that Nigel Pearson kind of trained into them towards the end of last season, and then he's added tactics to that have made them a team that are so difficult to beat. When you look at what Claudio Ranieri has brought in, N'Golo Conte, and he has been simply sensational. I was lucky enough to be able to watch Leicester this season when they came to the Emirates, and Conte was absolutely everywhere. Everywhere the ball was, you just saw him. He was either making a tackle, he was getting he was intercepting. He is always there, and it's an absolute miracle that Claudio Ranieri managed to find him and bring him in, and none of the other big clubs had spotted it. Then you've got Jamie Vardy. Jamie Vardy, a player who has come from the very bottom of football in England. He's come from playing in non-league football to then breaking Ruud van Nistelrooy's record of scoring in the most consecutive games, which for any Premier League striker is fantastic. And one thing that I've always thought about with how Leicester have come through is they just don't give up, they fight. And when you see that Jamie Vardy is the spearhead of that Leicester City attack, you can completely understand why that's the case. Jamie Vardy is a man that has never given up on anything in his career, and he's dreamed of this. He's dreamed of it, of being able to play for England. And maybe 4 or 5 years ago, that would have been outrageous to think that, because he was playing in a team where, no one even really watches it. So for him to now be representing England, scoring a fantastic goal against the best goalkeeper in the world, Manuel Neuer, for England against Germany in a game where we turned it around, and that spirit, that fight that has been shown from Leicester and from Tottenham this season was shown for England, which is something I've not seen really for a long time. Moving on in that Leicester team, you've got the back four who, where's Morgan? Robert Huth is a player who Stoke let go because they saw as someone that they didn't need anymore, that wasn't really worthy of being in their team anymore. And I'm sure Stoke are looking on that now and are regretting that, because Robert Huth has been so pivotal. Again, and you could mention any Leicester player, Mahrez, they've all been pivotal for them. But it's been sensational. But my thoughts are Leicester are going to win the Premier League, and in terms of predictability, people were touting them to go down. Moving on to my next point now, and you look at the other leagues around, and the Spanish league is one which normally is to one of 3 teams, and that is Barcelona, Atletico, Real Madrid. It's not changed too much in that sense this season, but what has happened is that Barcelona 4 or 5 weeks ago were in a position where they were cruising. They were absolutely cruising. The majority of the season, Barcelona have been way out in front, and it has been a pretty easy season for them. Messi, Neymar and Suarez scoring record-breaking amounts of goals, and generally their performances being outstanding. They're now level on points with Atletico, and if Barcelona drop any points in their next game, and Atletico will have the opportunity to pounce on that. Nobody would have predicted that either, because of the way that Barcelona were playing. But it all stemmed from, I think, Arsenal playing them at the Camp Nou. The problem with Barcelona is fatigue. I have a friend that is a Barcelona fan. He watched them religiously, and I asked him, I said, what's going on? And he said the players are just so tired, and it makes sense. So if you go through the results since that Arsenal game, so they obviously won that 3-1. They then drew 2-2 with Villarreal. Then they lost to Real Madrid. Then they beat Atletico Madrid in the Champions League 2-1 in the first leg. Then after that game, they lost to Real Sociedad 1-0. They lost to Atletico Madrid in the Champions League, and then they lost to Valencia, a team that are meandering really low in the Spanish league at the moment because they've had their own problems this season. Barcelona's starting 11 is obviously by far the best starting 11 in the world. When you look at their squad depth and kind of the ability to be able to rotate the team around fully, it doesn't look like they've got enough squad to be able to do that, and obviously that's why there seems to be this issue with fatigue within the team. So who knows what's going to happen there? And again, with the way that the Liga is setting itself up, it's unpredictable again. You don't know who's going to be able to win it. A big disaster for them to not have the success at the end of a season where they have played some of the most phenomenal football that you will see on this planet ever. It remains to be seen what will happen there. Hopefully, from just the respect of how they've played this season, they will come out on top. But again, it's unpredictable, so who knows. Then suddenly Liverpool find themselves in a semi-final of a European competition. Brendan Rodgers was a man that kind of surfed the wave of Luis Suarez's success. Now you've got Jurgen Klopp, who is completely different, and he really gets the players working for each other. It's working, and it's fantastic to watch. He's so dramatic and so passionate about it. The guy basically pours passion on his Weetabix for breakfast, and obviously eats a lot of it. Coming back from 3-1 down with 35-40 minutes to go was just absolutely phenomenal. 5 minutes later, make it 3-2. And at that stage, it's definitely beginning to be back on. And then what happened next is history. I don't need to go through it because I'm pretty certain if you're watching this and you're watching a football channel, you've probably seen the highlights, or you know what happened. The reason why Liverpool came back in that game was because of the fans, because of the passion that Jurgen Klopp gives, and that just shows, linking with Leicester, the fans, the passion, the players, the passion, and if there is enough passion and enough fight and determination, you can do and you can succeed at whatever you want to do, and that is why this sense of predictability that has been around for seasons now is beginning to look vulnerable. Like you can't predict some of the results in football anymore, but there's one thing you can predict. Don't think it will ever change unless there's a big change at Arsenal. Don't think it will ever change unless there's a big change at Arsenal. Arsenal in September, October time, looking really, really good. We have the squad to do it. There's absolutely no doubt about that. But it always fades. And then suddenly, you're in April and you feel like this. You feel cheated. You feel completely like you've wasted a season of football. And I'm sure some of the players, like Ozil, 18 assists this season, and nothing really to show for it. No FA Cup this year to make up for not challenging for the title, but it won't be good enough. And I absolutely adore Arsene Wenger, and I've never really been when you're out. I hate the people that take the banners to the games. That's outrageous. It is time. It's time to move on. It's time for change, because if you don't have that, it's going to be the same again. The best squad of players that Arsene Wenger has had since the Invincible team, something has to give, right? There has to be some sort of change, otherwise it'll be the same thing next season, the season after, and then the season after that, unless we change the manager. 2-0 up against West Ham with 10 minutes till half time, you just sit back. You let it come. You finish the second half. You finish the first half 2-0 up. You come out in the second half and you try and nick a goal maybe on the counter attack. But you don't go in 2-2. That's not right, and that happens every season. I can give you probably examples from the last 4 or 5 seasons where it's exactly the same. A team that has got Mesut Ozil, Alexis Sanchez, Danny Welbeck, Laura Koscielny, Petr Cech in it, are getting the same results and the same standards as a team with like Almunia, Senderos, Denilson. We're still getting the same results as we did with that, and that has got to be a problem that lies with our manager. So that's that for today. Apologise about a little bit of an Arsenal rant at the end of the video there, and I'm not going to talk about Arsenal much more between now and the end of the season. I'll do an end of the season review video with Arsenal but I will share my thoughts about how the season's gone there. What I would like to know though is whether you agree with the fact that predictability in football, or what your thoughts are of is predictability in football over. Obviously I understand that it's one season. Do you think it is just the one season? Do you think, do you agree with my comments that I've made about Leicester and Liverpool and also Barcelona? If you've enjoyed the video, please leave a like, rating and subscribe. That would be great. And this has been thesporthype.net. I'm Alex Andrews. Adios.